This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone from all around the world. I am so excited and so honored to welcome you all to our very first episode of Valley Grown. If you don't know me, my name is Jill San Antonio, and I am coming to you live from Santa Maria. So here at Valley Grown, our purpose is to grow together by sharing meaningful conversations. Before I get deep into our episode, I do want to emphasize that here at Valley Grown, we want you to feel like this is more than just a show. You have all taken this precious time out of your day or night to join us. So we want you to be able to feel connected, supported, heard, seen, and of course, the ability to cultivate together. So with that being said, we all know that life is like a constant battle and fight in the ring. But no matter what portion of your fight you're in, first and foremost, of course, God is by our side. And also you have the support from your host from all four corners of the ring. So without further ado, in one corner, I'd love to introduce Caitlin Bautista from Bakersfield. Caitlin, come on down. Come on, say hi to our viewers.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting Valley Grown.
Woo, awesome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And we're so blessed to have you as one of our hosts. So next up, we have Melanie from Visalia. Melanie, come on down and say hi.
Yes, thank you once again for tuning in. I know it's like the end of the week. It's a Friday. But it's still a time for us to be together tonight so that we can continue to learn about communication, conversations that matters, and for us to be able to grow. So thank you again for having me tonight.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Melanie. And last but certainly not least, we have our very own Melvi Tamayo, also from Visalia. So Melvi.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Valley Grown, which again, what Jill mentioned, will have meaningful conversations. And we hope that tonight you will learn from all of us. Stay tuned because we have an exciting show for you tonight indeed. So go ahead and don't forget to also like, share, and subscribe so you'll never ever miss all of our shows. Back to you, Jill.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much to all of our lovely co-hosts. So as you've all guessed it, tonight's theme is something we can all relate to, and that is growth. So growth isn't just about goals. It's about the words, our conversations, and our mindset that shape who we become. So tonight we'll be diving deep into self-talk, the power of conversations, and sharing some personal stories that highlight what growth really looks like in our lives. So let's start with our first question. I want to ask our panelists here, our hosts, but not only that, I also want to hear from our Vine chat. So wherever you are in the world, feel free to drop in where you're coming from, where you're tuning in from, and also your thoughts, because not only we want to learn from each other, but we want to learn from you all as well. So first and foremost, what does growth mean to you? You personally, professionally, spiritually, or emotionally, or in all aspects? Let's start with you, Caitlin.
For me, when I think of growth, just for myself, I think about emotional growth, just because I really like studying all things in the mind and about emotions. So I feel like for me, growth means just pushing yourself every day. There's going to be a lot of things that, weigh you down or hinder you from growing, like being frustrated or being hard on yourself, because we live in a world that's, like so competitive, and it's easy to be really negative at times, but you have to remember that you can't grow without planting seeds of good habits. So instead of being frustrated, you can choose to be kind. Instead of anger, you can choose patience and gentleness. So just, I guess, cultivating a culture of positivity helps you to move forward. So that's what growth means to me.
I love that. How your mindset, how you respond to things. Thank you so much. How about you, Melvi?
I was still thinking. She said a lot of things. For me, when I think about it, it's really simple. One is it's what you choose to nurture and what you choose to learn based on your life's experiences. And what Caitlin mentioned is the daily habits that we choose to do, because it boils down to the choices that we make each day in our lives in order to grow. Indeed.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Yes, the choices we make are very powerful. What about you, Melanie?
To me, growth is becoming mature in handling difficult situations, being positive, even though it's like the most negative instance, but also being able to deny yourself. Because sometimes when you get into that conversation of conflict, you always want to take that pride and be like, oh, I'm correct and or I'm right, but sometimes just try to listen, and then at the same time being able to understand the other person. I think to me that's definitely growth in general, from personal, professional, spiritual, and emotional.
Yes, love it. I love the part when you said deny yourself. I feel like that's a really hard part. As it's easy not it's easier to be positive, but it's also a lot more difficult to deny yourself. So I think that is a great segue into our very first segment. So diving into the power of self-talk. So one of the biggest influences on our growth is the way we talk to ourselves. Yes, we talk to ourselves all day, every day without even thinking about it. So the words in our head definitely matter. So think about the difference between saying, I can't do this versus I'm learning how to do this. That small shift in that change of mindset is everything. So I want to ask our hosts, was there a time where you had to lean on positive self-talk to get through a challenging time?
I would like to start answering that question, Jill. For sure, I know all of us experienced COVID, right? And working in the healthcare field, I think that was the most challenging, especially with the unknown. We still had to make it each day to work because we do have to take care of people. And so just having to wake up every day and say, we're going to get through this. Of course, lots of prayer, right? And then we're going to get through this. No matter what happens, we're always having to make sure that we have that positive attitude, because it can definitely bring you down. And so to me, that was the most challenging time for sure.
Thank you for sharing. Yes, that was a very, very difficult year, and I can't even imagine. And kudos to everybody that works in the healthcare field. I would not be able to do it. So, yes, thank you for sharing that. Anybody else?
When it comes to me, in life there are so many uncertainties, just like what Melanie mentioned. And what I've come to realize is that a lot of things are out of our control, but there's one thing that we can control is ourselves, our reactions to different situations that we go through in our lives on a daily basis. We may not know what's up ahead, but we can definitely focus on what is now.
Yeah.
Never the attitude of what ifs. And when there are times I'm faced with challenges, instead of saying, I can't do this, I've learned, or I am continuously learning to say, I can't do this yet. But I'm going to take the step and the initiatives to do whatever it takes to get from my point A to my point B destination. I've never been so much braver in my life now, that even when it comes to my communication, before I hesitate, I do not want to talk to anybody. I just want to stay inside my shell. But now it's one of those where it's so beautiful to get to know people. And when it boils down to meaningful conversations, again, it's a matter of choice. And when we grow and learn from all of our experiences, the mindset that we have also grows, and from that we can also learn from each other and not just within ourselves.
Love it. I absolutely love it. If there's one thing that you can take from the show, it's that. So thank you so much. I'm definitely going to be implementing that. Even though I may not be doing it now, I may in the future. Yes, love it. What about you, Caitlin?
Yes, I was going to mention I can't do this yet. Melvi, you took the words right out of my mouth. There's a very fantastic, not sponsored, TED Talk by Dr. Carol Dweck, who talks about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. And she talks about the power of yet, because if you're saying that I can't do this, I'm not capable, you're stuck in that shell that you built yourself. By saying, oh, I can't do this yet. I will figure out how to do this. I will figure out how to do this. You're expanding your mind and you're creating more opportunities for yourself. So that's that on that.
Love it. Yes, I'll definitely have to check that out. Thank you so much for sharing, Caitlin, Melvie, and Melanie. So, and to everybody tuning in on the Vine chat, please share with us what helps you encourage that self-talk. We'd love to hear your answer. So feel free to flood those Vine chats, because once we get to it, we'd love to hear what you all have to say. So moving into our next portion, it is called Conversations That Spark Growth. So we talked about internal, what helps us grow internally. Now let's talk about with others externally. So as Melvie mentioned, there are some things that we cannot control, and that is other people. So it's not just about our self-talk. The conversations that we have with others also shape our growth, whether it's good or bad, right? So sometimes we don't even realize how much our environments or the people around us we surround ourselves with impact us. Some of the conversations can either lift us up while others drain our energy. So I want to ask our panelists or host, have you ever noticed how certain environments or people affected your growth?
Yes. So
Melanie's on a roll tonight.
I want to first give a shout out to her. Yes. One of our subscribers. Hi, Julia. Thank you for watching tonight. And I already gave her a little heads up, because I'm like, okay, since I work with you every day, you're pretty much the person I'm going to have to probably talk about a lot. Because I mean, technically, we work like, every day. I feel like we're always there all the time. So we have our family work people, right? Or those who we work with are considered sometimes our family, and she's my bestie. So work bestie, actually. So I wanted to just kind of share, because about a year and a half ago, I did transition to working with her. And one of the things that I noticed with her was that she was always greeting everybody. She passed by somebody, and she always also find this little things that she sees in a positive, and she compliments them. And so being in the hospital, you don't really want to be there unless you work there, right? Mm-hmm. But so for those who pass by her, whenever she greets them and she puts that smile and says, "Oh, I love the color of your hair," instantly you just see the big difference. And it's like they're walking in looking so down, and then yet they put on a smile. So she's totally like an influence of positivity. I'm really shy, so sometimes you pass by somebody and either if they make eye to eye, maybe I'll put a smile. But then sometimes you're like, okay, will they say hi to me back? So you kind of have that hesitancy. Well, should I greet, right? But for her, it does not matter. And sometimes I even tease like, are you like you're almost like a politician, you say hi to everybody, but that's just her personality. So she's definitely the influence of positivity that I've experienced at work.
I love that. Yes, work besties are a must. Sometimes the work might be so hard, but then you have the people around you, and you're like, okay, thank you. So I love that. We always need that positivity, especially when we're having those days at work. So thank you so much for sharing. And thank you for tuning in and subscribing as well. Anybody else?
I feel like being around people who just uplift you or just make you feel good, it makes you feel, I guess, like braver or more outgoing, because I've learned to recognize when spaces are just draining, like what you mentioned, Jill, and we have to set those boundaries. It's part of protecting yourself. And when I'm with people, I just notice when I'm with people who speak very negatively or just don't have the best things to say, the conversation, it's like a drought. It's dry. Like it feels so draining. But you have to remember, like literally just like that. But I have to remember, maybe in their own circles or in their own environments, maybe that's all they know, because the people around them are talking badly about themselves, and they think and they normalize just speaking badly about yourself. So I always try to be, and I try to encourage all of you to just be that little light, that positivity in your friend groups, in your family, in your environment, because you never know, you could be the spark of someone's day.
Exactly. Yes, I couldn't agree more. Sometimes people don't even know that some of the words that they say are hurtful. So, and it's all about how we respond to things, removing ourselves from toxic environments. What about you, Melvi?
Oh, I love people who are so positive and energized, and they always see the bright things of life. And
Mhm.
I try my best to be that person, whether I'm at work or outside work. When people make eye contact, then I would definitely give them back a smile, or when they say hello and greet me, I do the same exact thing. And the one or a couple of things that I have been trying to make better for myself is becoming more self-aware, and become also be situation have that situational awareness in any kind of situation that we go through in our lives, whether if it's professional or even personal or even within ourselves, because as human beings we do there are times we end up, let's say, getting carried away with our emotions, and
Mhm.
instead of trying to be the energy or the good person in the room, you end up being zapper of energy. Right. And so I'm also trying to remove the stress, the factor or the factors that contribute to my stress, whether it's a person, a thing, or a situation, and do my best to just avoid them. If I know that it's not worth my time at all and it's just draining me literally, then I stay away from it. I just do. I've learned to also say no. Before it's always yes, 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 yes. No boundaries. It's always yes, even though it's already hurting me and just draining me and making me frustrated even more each day. I've learned to also set boundaries. So yes, there are a lot of things that we can give examples to when it comes to our life's experiences, but depending on whatever, again, it boils down to what is it that you'd like to do? What is it that's going to make your life more fulfilling? And I think each of us want to always have that better opportunities, a better lifestyle, better us for sure, in our lives. So we do our best to make each day count and hone whatever it is, the skills that we need in order to get there.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. And it's like that saying, you got to help yourself before you help others, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's like, when you're in the airplane and they
Yeah.
tell you to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can help. It's really true. So
Mhm.
and it is with life, protecting your energy, as old, whenever as we get older, it's more important to protect our energy and setting those types of boundaries with other people, knowing when other people are draining you, and also feeling inspired. And whenever you are feeling inspired, gravitating towards them as well. So I think it is time to hear from our Vine chat and our grapevine. So Kuya Tech, if you can play our segment bumper for the grapevine. I love it. Thank you. And Caitlin, if you don't mind reading off some of our comments from our lovely viewers that are tuning in with us today.
Of course, the grapevine, the Vine chat, it's buzzing. All right, there's so many lovely viewers and comments. First, we have from Carwell, or Brother Rowell. Hello, Valley Ground. Can't wait for another great episode. Shout out to our amazing host. Well, thank you. And we have Julia, who says, so excited for this episode. Shout out to all the hosts and Melanie. And she also said, when facing difficult tasks, I always tell myself, I can do difficult things. I can do scary, difficult things. We have to remind ourselves that we are capable of anything. Well, yes, of course. I love that, Julia. And then from our very own Brother Rudolph, happy pilot episode to Valley Grown, Central Valley's source of meaningful conversations that lead to growth. Here's to stories rooted in purpose and a community committed to growing together. We have Romel Bautista. Hi to all brethren tuned in, viewing from local congregation of Bakersfield. If you don't know, this is my dad, and it's his birthday today. So happy birthday! We also have PJ, who says, growth to me is spiritual growth and level up in our faith, of course. We have Zenaida saying, greetings from Midtown Toronto, District of Greater Toronto. Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have Joanne and Lonnie, who are coming in from the local of Delano. Brother Hines and Selmo saying tuned in from Bakersfield. Caruel says, man, I'm loving the banter back and forth. Talk about growth in our INC radio branding. Well, yes, thank you, thank you, Caruel. And we have Mario Oka. Good day here in the Philippines and enjoy watching. Greetings from local of Brixtonville, district of Caloocan North. He's an avid viewer. He's always tuned in, locked in for our broadcast. So thank you so much, Mario. And we have Marissa Nofuente, happy viewing CVC, watching from Santa Maria. Hello, Ate Jill.
Hello.
And that about does it for our Vine chat. Back to you, Jill.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Love it. And thank you to all of our viewers for joining us. And if you haven't, please feel free to let us know your thoughts and your opinions on, on our show and what goes on here. So this is a safe space. So I'm excited to get into this next segment. I don't know about you all, but it's going to be an exciting one because we're going to get a little personal. So if we can show our bumper, Kuya Tech, for our next segment, which is Show and Sew. I love it. Awesome. So this is a very exciting segment. So if there's anybody that would like to go first and show us, it is time for a Show and Sew, a segment where each of us are going to share a very meaningful artifact that reminds us of our growth throughout the years.
I think Melanie wants to go first.
Why not? I've been doing it. Okay, so I have here, and I got it's a mirror, and on the mirror it says "Do your best."
Oh,
Yeah, so when I saw this, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get this, and then ever since I've been using it, and the reason why I chose a mirror that helps me with my growth is because when you look at a mirror, you see yourself. It's pretty much a trigger to self-reflect. When you look at it, you don't just see physically what you're looking at, but at the same time, you start to think, okay, how is my day going to be today? Okay, first you look at your wrinkles, right? Okay, maybe we need more.
No, I don't want to see that.
The beauty mark.
Yeah, because that's where the growth is. Okay, growing in age. But then at the same time, you're like, okay, so today we're gonna have a good day. So then you start kind of also talk positive to yourself, trying to be kind to yourself, because then it's almost like the first thing that you want to do in the morning, right, is to encourage yourself, be kind to yourself. So that's why I chose a mirror.
love it. I love how you just hype yourself up in the mirror and give yourself that pep talk. We all need that. We all
So
need
you got this.
I love it.
Can you get me a mirror that says that? You got this? Can you get it customized?
Well, this one says do your best. So this time you can just tell yourself, look at yourself, give yourself like that really like, okay, we got this.
I know, right? I have my watch set to literally gorgeous. Hey,
Oh.
gorgeous.
Yes,
Yeah,
and one
hey,
more
gorgeous.
thing. I want
Time
to share
stand
this.
up. You've been sitting down too long. You need to get up. Take a
Drink
break.
your water, hydrate.
Yes.
Yes, that too. I drink whatever it takes. But it calls me gorgeous and I feel good.
Okay, so one more thing. I'm sorry, I have to share this because sorry, Julia.
No.
So
We're here
Julia
for it.
always tells everybody, hello, gorgeous, hello, beautiful. And I don't know why, but it's almost like all the time, but it still makes you feel good every time she says it. I don't know. So maybe we can start saying, hi, gorgeous, hi, beautiful. I mean, seriously, but it has to be genuine, right? We
It
have to
makes
be
a difference.
genuine to each other.
I tell my dog that every day, and I'm sure she feels it.
Yes.
Maybe she barks at you back and says, you're beautiful.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing, Melanie. Anybody else want to share what they got? I'm excited. I want to hear.
I would like to share next. Okay, I'm going to cover up the name. The artifact I'd like to share is a picture of me and one of my students because I'm like an after-school teacher and I go by Miss C. I don't know if you see it, but can y'all see that?
Yes.
It says says,
Oh,
like
that
this.
is
Oh,
beautiful.
Yes. So can you see this? Yes. Okay. Looks like this. Yes, that's her. Oh, that's me, and that's her. So yes. It just means a lot to me because it shows the impact I've had on someone else's life, even in small ways. As I mentioned earlier, I always try my best to be like encouraging, just be outgoing, show up for others. And it reminds me that like my growth isn't just about my own personal achievements. It's how I show up for others and how I make people feel safe or cared for and valued. So that note, that picture is just the love and patience that I try to give and how it's like reflected back, if that makes any sense.
I love that. I love that. Everybody needs a Caitlin in their life. I love you're like everybody's out there. That's so amazing. I know
Nice.
have your patience with children, so that is amazing.
That's so nice. Thank you.
I mean it. What about you, Melvie?
Okay, now if you know me, well, people who know me, I do love sunset and sunrise, but most of all sunset. And I've mentioned this in other programs that I've guested too. And I haven't seen any photos or whatever, but I do have this nice gift that was given to me on my birthday because they know I love it. So if I'm facing that or I'm facing the ocean and I see the sunset from afar, including the mountains, I know that from point A, from point B, I will have many obstacles in my life. But at the end of the day, every opportunity matters to me. So I take those opportunities seriously now because we'll never know that if, when it comes to life, it's filled with uncertainty. So as long as we get to wake up, I wake up with a grateful heart and I close my chapter of my life at the end of the day also with a grateful heart. So I start, of course, with a grateful heart and a prayer, and at the same time, I do the same thing at the end of the day before I go to bed. And seeing my life as a sunset and a sunrise, whenever I get up and I still see this, it inspires me to continue on. That no matter how difficult life becomes or whatever it is that we go through in our journey, as long as we have a good heart, a good character, and a good intent towards others, we make a difference, not only in our lives, but also in the lives of others as well.
I love that. And that is so full circle because you got that on your birthday. And that is just so beautiful.
Yeah.
Just sunset, sunrise, and knowing that there is always going to be another day coming ahead no matter what happens. So I love that. Thank you all for sharing. So for mine, really quickly, mine is a little sticker called, it says believe, but if you watch the show Ted Lasso and you're a Ted Lasso fan, I actually got this from the store in London. I actually went to go visit the store, and it was a very meaningful trip. I went solo, and it was nice knowing that I was able to believe that I could do it by myself. But not only that, it was a show that got me through some really difficult times. And anytime I watch the show, it is just so funny. And I could be, having I'll be down in the dumps and I'll watch the show and it just always already uplifts me. So thank you all so much for that show. And so thank you to all of our viewers. And of course, what a powerful conversation tonight. We've learned that growth isn't only about reaching goals, it's about how we speak to ourselves. So we'd like to thank our INC radio station manager, Brother Wally Tarai, our Deputy Executive Minister, Brother Angelo Iranio Manalo, and our Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. And of course, thank you so much to all of our viewers for tuning in today for our very first episode of Valley Grown. We'll see you next time only here on Valley Grown, presented to you by INC Radio Central Valley. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
See you next week.
See you next time.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah, subscribe.
Set alerts on your phone.
Bye.